Do you have the documents? This has all the information we need to analyze the intelligence assets? I'll make sure it gets to the right people. This is STEM in 30. Junior agents of STEM, come in. Do you read me?
Today we're going to be learning about aerial reconnaissance and intelligence gathering.
Or spy planes.
We've been given a set of documents classified STEM secret.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to look at these photographs and see if we can trust our source.
We're going to give you some hints on how to decipher those, and we need you to look at them and try to figure out what's going on in those images.
While Marty and I are in the field gathering information, we need your powers of observation to analyze what we collect.
Agent X gave us a photo that we need your help analyzing. Take notes, see what conclusions you can come up with.
Right now, we are at CIA headquarters. We're going to take a look around, and when we get more information, we'll come back to you with another briefing.
Hi, I'm Robert Beyer. I'm CIA Museums Director. Welcome to CIA. The CIA Museum is a national archive for the collection, preservation, documentation, and exhibition of intelligence artifacts, culture, and history. Located at the George Bush Center for Intelligence, the collection contains over 3,500 items ranging from the A-12 spy plane to declassified documents and artifacts from CIA paramilitary operations. While the museum cannot be visited by the public, the CIA Museum has partnerships with presidential libraries and other major museums and institutions to develop public exhibitions dedicated to understanding the craft of intelligence and its role in the broader American intelligence experience.
I've got to meet up with our contact to learn about spy planes. I'm going this way.
I'm going to check this out. This looks important. Wow.
Hi, David.
Hello, Beth.
We are standing under an airplane that looks a lot like our SR-71 Blackbird, but I understand that it's not.
No, this is the A-12 Oxcart. This is the CIA aircraft. The SR-71 is the Air Force aircraft that's based on the Oxcart.
What's the difference between the Oxcart and our SR-71?
The fact that the A-12 has one pilot and the SR-71 has a pilot and a reconnaissance systems officer, because the SR-71 did more kinds of intelligence collection than the A-12. The A-12 was photography. SR-71 could do other things.
Why does the CIA need airplanes? I thought you guys were all like spies.
Well, our mission is to collect intelligence any place, any way we can get it. We were authorized to build aircraft because we couldn't put spies inside the Soviet Union to find out what we needed to know about their nuclear program. So we said, let's fly over it safely at a speed and a height that they couldn't shoot us down at, and take pictures.
What can you tell from pictures that have been taken that far up?
Even an aircraft that takes pictures at that height and speed can tell you a lot. What you can do strategically is look for military installations, missiles, troop movements. If you're in a battlefield, you can do bomb damage assessment. You can look for sites that you want to attack and prepare your missions accordingly.
Do you still use these planes today?
No, this one was grounded in 1968 when our CIA mission was canceled and replaced by the Air Force mission, the SR-71s. They flew for another 20 years, a total of almost 3,600 missions between the two aircraft.
So how do you get images today?
Satellites principally, and also drones. And the U2, built in 1956, it is still flying as we speak.
Well, the U2 is one of my favorites. Is there someplace I can learn more about it?
You can go inside and meet one of my colleagues and he'll tell you all about it.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
This place is so cool. They've got a giant map of Washington, D.C. You can see the Washington Monument, the Air and Space Museum. If you go down a little further, I think you could even see Mount Vernon. I'm gonna make a great spy.
You know, we're just here to learn, Marty, so that we can get information back to our analysts.
Hi Beth, hi Marty. What's going on?
Hey Brent, how's it going?
Pretty good.
We need to get information back to our analysts, and we need to know a little bit about the Cuban Missile Crisis. What can you tell us about that?
The Cuban Missile Crisis was an event in October 1962. It was in the middle of the Cold War. The Soviet Union had put offensive weapons into Cuba, and the United States was very unhappy about that. We needed to find out exactly what was going on, so we launched the U2 to get photographic evidence of what the Soviets were up to.
How important was the U2 in the whole Cuban Missile Crisis? Like, those images were taken by the U2.
Vitally important. The Kennedy administration had evidence from various sources, but it was really the U2 imagery that sealed the deal of what was going on in Cuba.
Tell us about the suit we see behind us.
This was a U2 partial pressure suit. This is intended to put physical pressure on your body. It's not like a spacesuit, which is a full pressure suit. In this case, they would pump air into the tubes you see on the arms and on the legs to pressurize a suit when the pilot ascended to a certain altitude.
But it's not a sealed system like a spacesuit would be.
No, it's not. Only the helmet has a sealed compartment that keeps your oxygen flow pressurized at the right level.
What would happen if you didn't have a pressure suit? What would happen to pilots?
You would actually pass out from hypoxia, where you start to get lightheaded, you start to lose control of your muscles and so on. So that helps with that. And in addition, the U2 could fly up around 70,000 feet. Anywhere above 50,000 feet, you really need a pressurized suit, and these guys would fly 20,000 feet above that.
Wow. So it's right on the edge of space.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing us around today.
Sure thing, it was my pleasure.
Hi, my name is Major Chris. I'm a U2 pilot in the 99th Reconnaissance Squadron, Beale Air Force Base, California. I'm currently a pilot of the U2 Dragon Lady, and I fly high altitude intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. When I'm flying my missions, I'm single pilot, I'm alone in the aircraft. I tend to talk to myself a lot. I don't answer. I'm also talking to a whole host of individuals back that are monitoring the sensors or monitoring my mission and tracking my progress. So I need to be able to communicate and relay to them exactly what's going on in my aircraft when it could be thousands of miles away from where they are. So to give them the picture that I'm seeing and for them to understand it, communication is absolutely vital. When flying the U2, a couple of cool things that you can see the curvature of the Earth, and that is a beautiful sight. Also, another beautiful sight you can see is when we're going from day to night, I can actually see the night moving, and we call it the Terminator line. And so you see the Terminator line coming across the Earth, and it's absolutely amazing, beautiful. It's the perfect vantage point. For me, when you're on the ground and you look up to an airliner, it looks about that big. It's about how the airliner looks for me when I'm looking down at it. So it's amazing. It's amazing.
Junior agents of STEM, come in, junior agents of STEM.
We've been given the first clues to help you authenticate your photograph.
Take a look at shadows that are cast by large objects. Those can help you tell things like the time of day.
Also, look for things that don't quite look right, like the size of people and cars.
Take a look around on your image and report back your findings.
Good luck.
Guys, there's a football field.
Look, there's a hot air balloon.
There's a
Guys, look at the stem.
Oh yeah, that is them.
And STEM and 30.
Some sort of
A rocket.
I'm not sure that should be right. The shape of the shadow is different than the monument.
Oh, it is.
It looks like a rocket.
Oh, you're right.
It does. And the STEM and 30 sign. And the energy sign.
Yeah, that was really good.
Come in, junior agents of STEM. Come in, are you there?
What did you learn?
We found a soccer field, the STEM and 30 sign, and an astronaut.
Great job, but remember, things aren't always as they seem.
But what happens if we need to get a closer look?
We'll be back soon with an update.
Marty, this is Rob Beyer. He's in charge of the CIA Museum.
Rob, how can we get a closer look at something without getting people closer to it?
So the great thing about our Directorate of Science and Technology is that they have turned to the world of nature in order to find ways in which to get and collect that information in very unique ways. Behind me, you see quite a few different ways they've done that over the years. Putting a camera on a pigeon, using robofish to collect water samples, or in one case, using a rat, yes, there's a rat in there, as a dead drop. That's something that a case officer uses to communicate with his agent or her agent in the field to pass information back and forth, because a case officer and an agent don't want to be seen in the same place together, or that agent might have a short lifespan.
What about drones? Do you all use drones in your line of work?
In the 70s, they were experimenting with a very interesting way of trying to get audio information from different places. And so they came up with the idea for something called the insectothopter. And the insectothopter was a small little micro drone, basically using a bug to bug someone else.
Wow.
So it's not just collecting photographs like we do with our personal drones. There's other information you can collect with a drone.
You can use the full spectrum of video, audio. There's so much information that one can gather. And so in this instance with the insectothopter, that was just audio that they were trying to gather.
Awesome, this is great information. We need to get this back to our junior agents of STEM.
Okay, let's go.
And that STEM and 30 and the energy sign and the astronaut.
Junior agents of STEM, come in, junior agents of STEM.
We have just been given another clue that can help you authenticate your photograph.
Take a look at these images. See what discrepancies you can see between them.
But remember, things may not be as they appear.
You have to decide what's real and what's not. Good luck.
Look, the shadow's different. It doesn't look like a rocket ship. It looks like
doesn't.
more point and not more bent. Oh yeah, and there's no STEM and 30 sign.
Oh, there isn't.
No, I see the White House, and I did not see that in the map.
Okay. Do you see how these other buildings are the same color, and if you go back to the other one, they aren't? See? It says STEM.
It does. Interesting.
Oh, but
And it's really cool because these are gray and how it goes down in the perfect letters. I don't think we should trust this.
Yeah, I think this is completely fake.
Come in, junior agents of STEM. What information do you have to report back?
In the first image, the buildings are two different colors, but in the second image, they're all the same color. I'm not so sure that we can trust the first image.
Great job. Let's take a look at a mission this type of intel supports.
Right behind me is the Jawbreaker 91101 Mi-17 helicopter. This helicopter was used just 15 days after the attacks on 9/11, and 7 men and $3 million from CIA made its way from Uzbekistan into Afghanistan in the middle of the night so that they could partner with the Northern Alliance and pave the way for the coming invasion. This helicopter was the perfect aircraft for the situation. It was able to blend into that landscape because as a Russian helicopter, those were the type of helicopters people saw every day in that region. And it was also specially situated to go over high mountainous passes. At one point, they were so high up that the people on board said they didn't have to worry about crashing because they were only 3 feet over the mountain. This helicopter paved the way for 100 CIA officers, 300 Special Operations Forces, the 15,000 Northern Alliance members, and the might of the U.S. Air Force to drive out Taliban and Al-Qaeda forces out of northern Afghanistan in just 3 months. Initially, they predicted it would take 3 years. This helicopter symbolizes the can-do spirit of our CIA officers, and we are very proud to have this here at CIA headquarters.
We've just received an encrypted message.
Looks like we're heading to the International Spy Museum. We'll be back soon with an update.
Welcome to the International Spy Museum. What can I do for you?
We are becoming spies.
No, we're not. But we are studying reconnaissance photos. Why would people put fake things for us to photograph?
Well, when the bad guys are taking pictures of our secret stuff, we can either do one of two things. We can try to shoot down the bad guy's aircraft, or we can camouflage and hide what we have on the ground. A lot of times it's hard to shoot down a high-flying spy plane or even a satellite. So instead, we camouflage, we disguise, we try to trick the enemy into not knowing what they're looking at.
Awesome. Well, our junior agents of STEM have been analyzing a photo to look for a few hidden things.
They've been doing a really great job.
Well, that's great. It sounds like they're ready for red teaming.
Great, I'll call them. I get to use my new spy watch. Junior agents of STEM, you've done a great job of analyzing the photo.
Now we need you to join us at the International Spy Museum, where you'll learn about spying and join the Red Team.
Get here, quick!
Welcome to the International Spy Museum. My name is Dr. Vince Houghton, and I'm the museum's historian and curator. The International Spy Museum lifts the veil of secrecy on the hidden world of intelligence, educating the public about the tradecraft, history, and impact of espionage. A non-governmental nonprofit in the heart of Washington, D.C., we feature the largest collection of international espionage artifacts ever placed on public display, including spy technology, concealment devices, booby traps, invisible ink, and even a Revolutionary War submarine. So what are your spy skills? Go on an undercover mission to disguise yourself, steal secrets, analyze intelligence, and learn about the shadow world of espionage. But remember, all is not what it seems. Agents of STEM, welcome to the decision room.
You all are ready to become a part of Red Team.
You're going to take what you have learned about intelligence gathering and recommend a real-world decision.
Are you ready to get started? Yeah! Let's go.
Hi, I'm Michael Morrell. I was the Deputy Director of CIA and twice its Acting Director. I was with President Bush on 9/11, and I was with President Obama when we brought Osama bin Laden to justice. One of the hardest decisions I had to make was whether I thought bin Laden was in this compound or not. And before we gave our information to the President of the United States, we ran red teams at the CIA to try and shoot holes in our analysis and to try and identify who else could be living in this compound, if not bin Laden.
Junior agents of STEM, the hunt for Osama bin Laden has led us to this safe house in Pakistan. Intelligence suggests bin Laden is in the compound, but we're not sure. Military and intelligence leaders are considering a raid on the compound, but if someone other than Osama bin Laden is in there, the consequences could have devastating implications. It's your job to determine who most likely lives in this compound and assess how confident we are that bin Laden is in this safe house. Let's take a look at what we know and try to determine if someone else altogether may live there. It is possible a crime boss lives there, or a reclusive business executive, another terrorist, or does the intelligence suggest it is Osama bin Laden? Our leaders are counting on your analysis to make an informed decision. Let's get to work. What do we know about the perimeter of this compound? Let's see how it compares to other houses nearby. Abbottabad is a well-to-do town with some large homes. What are the differences between the walls of this compound and the other homes in the area? Who of the possible 4 inhabitants would live in a nice town but barricade their house with barbed wire? It's time to decide. There's only one way in or out of this compound, through a walled-off driveway with gates at either end. From inside, it seems unlikely that you could see any of the buildings or grounds. Which of our possible suspects doesn't want you seeing in? It's time to decide. Now let's examine the main house. Look at the balcony on the top floor. Most balconies give the inhabitants a pleasant view, but do you think anyone could get a good view from this one? Look at the windows facing the street. They're all covered. Who of our possible inhabitants might be willing to sacrifice being able to look out so that no one can see in? Notice the satellite dish. But do you see any internet or phone lines running into the house? We don't see any, so either the residents don't need these conveniences, or they want to make sure their communications are not intercepted. The outdoor spaces of this compound are the only places we can directly observe human behavior. See the scorched area? This suggests the residents burn their trash rather than using trash pickup. We can learn a lot by analyzing a person's trash, but not in this case. We observed a man pacing around in the garden as if in a prison yard, but we can't see his face. Is the inhabitant trapped, restless, or just deep in thought? Who could the pacer be? It's time to decide. Your votes are in. Intelligence suggests it is Osama bin Laden. It's time to raid the compound.
Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands. Tonight, we give thanks to the countless intelligence and counterterrorism professionals who've worked tirelessly to achieve this outcome. The American people do not see their work, nor know their names. But tonight, they feel the satisfaction of their work and the result of their pursuit of justice.
You all did a great job.
Now let's go learn about our nation's first spy master.
Are you guys ready? Yeah! Let's
Let's
go! We're in the Spy Museum, but this looks like George Washington.
It absolutely is George Washington. The reason he's here is because Washington was a great leader for a lot of different reasons, but one of them was that he understood the Americans could never win the Revolutionary War without good intelligence. And that really leads us to what is, in my opinion, our most important artifact, a letter written by George Washington in his hand that creates the first ever American intelligence organization.
We are just about out of time for today, but before we go, have you all figured out who our Agent X was at the beginning of the show?
Do you have the documents? Is this all the information we need to analyze the intelligence assets? I'll make sure they get to the right people.
That's right, our Agent X at the beginning of the show was George Washington.
We've been leaving hints all throughout the show.
Let's take a look at a few of these hidden hints. Did you find any?
remember, things are not always what they seem.
Thanks
for
for
watching.
Whoa.
Where did
Spying.